Hello, everyone, and happy Spooktober. Today, we are hopping right back into this fabulous series. There's a locked door in my new apartment. And without much babbling, let's get right into it because this is fabulous. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 3 loud knocks resounded so unexpectedly that I nearly jumped out of my skin. Then I realized the knocking was coming from the front door. I scrambled towards it, unlocking it as fast as I could, not caring who was on the other side. As I opened the door, I pushed past an elderly man who had a look of frustration on his face. "Hey, what the hell?" he shouted. "There's someone in there," I pointed to the apartment, ignoring the man. He peered inside my apartment and asked, "Where? Who?" "I don't know, but they're in the storage room, right there around the corner." I kept pointing, breathing heavily. The man sighed and looked at me. His look was no longer one of anger, but rather pity. "Ah, the storage room. They probably didn't tell you," he said. "Tell me what?" I asked, confused. "Mice," he replied, letting himself inside. He stared at the door and then looked back at me and said, "The storage room is locked tightly or rusted shut, but mice probably found their way in somehow. Must have been a hole in there or something." "Wait a minute. Mice?" "Ah, don't worry." He smiled when he saw my concern. "They travel through the walls in the building and sometimes make these scratching sounds. You probably heard that." "No, wait. That couldn't have been a mouse. There was someone in there. They slammed the door." "Mice," he interrupted me. "They can get really big. They can't get into your apartment since the walls are really good, but they do live in the walls. If you're really afraid, you should get a cat." "I'm not afraid of mice," I remarked angrily. He raised his hands in a giving up stance. "Sorry, meant no offense. Anyway, I came to see what was going on since I heard you pacing around the apartment. I live below, and it's really loud. So could you maybe keep it down a little bit at this hour?" I opened my mouth, ready to argue, but wanted to get the conversation over with as soon as possible. I apologized for waking him up, and he left my apartment. "I'm Vincent, by the way." "Nathan," I replied. "You have a good night, Nate." He waved me off and left. The following day, I called a door repair service, not caring about the potential damage that would need to be caused to the walls for this door removal. Hell, I was even ready to pay for the whole thing myself, so long as the door just got taken off. The repair guy came shortly after, carrying a toolbox with him. "Hi, you called about the stuck door?" he asked formally. "Yeah, right this way." I let him in and showed him the way. He put his toolbox down and tried the knob. He tried pushing the door a few times. "Yeah, it won't budge." "It might be stuck in one or more places. Let me check." He pulled out a piece of paper from his toolbox and stuck it between the door and frame, running it all around the door. "All right, door doesn't seem to be stuck anywhere," he said, putting the paper down. "I may have to pry it open." "Whatever you need to do, man. Listen, I'll be working in my room while you're doing that. But can I interest you in coffee or something?" "Nah, I'm good. I'll let you know as soon as I'm done here. How's that?" the man replied, switching his gaze between the tools and the door, and never looking at me. I went into my room and spent some time in there working on a project, listening to the sounds of clattering tools from the hallway. Soon, those sounds grew a lot more intense, followed by a very loud buzzing. He was probably cutting the door down. 30 minutes later, the sound stopped and the man knocked on my door. "So, about the door," he started. "Yes, did you manage to get it open?" I asked. "That's the thing. I've never seen anything like it. Everything I tried failed. Even the saw couldn't leave a scratch on it. Moreover, the saw was damaged from contact with this door. It's like a normal wooden door, but it must be reinforced with something because nothing's getting through it." "Well, what do I do then?" "Well, you can try hiring some other door services, but I doubt they'd be able to give you a different answer. The more expensive solution would be tearing down the entire wall and taking the door down. I tried to access the hinges, but since the door opens to the inside, the hinges are on the other side, so you're out of luck, man." I thanked the man for his time and paid him, frustrated beyond words. By then, I just figured I'd have to live with this door being locked. I decided the best course of action was to just ignore the door and go about with my life, hoping I would not be woken up again in the middle of the night. That night, I went to bed later than usual. I didn't want to admit it to myself, but I was postponing going to bed. I was postponing going to bed out of fear that I might be woken up again in the middle of the night. I really did not want to be woken up again by some weird sounds. By the time I finally did go to bed, it was past 1 a.m. I fell asleep fairly quickly and started having some weird dreams. In my dreams, I was standing in front of a giant door surrounded by darkness. I was too small to even reach the knob, but pretty soon the gigantic knob turned with an echo and the door started opening slowly with a loud creaking sound. I waited in front of the door in anticipation, unable to see anything in the dark crack which separated the door from the frame. And then two bony hands emerged from the dark and grasped the edge of the door. I stood there petrified, unable to move a muscle as the door continued to open, the creaking sound never ceasing. And then, just as someone or something was about to peek out of the corner of the door, I woke up abruptly. I was drenched in a cold sweat and just stared into nothingness. As I processed where I was and what I had just seen, I glanced at my phone. It was 3:20 a.m. Feeling like I was not in control of my own body, I got out of my bed and walked over to the door. I opened it and went down the hallway, approaching the storage room. What I saw made me stop in my tracks. The door was wide open, extending into a long, dark hallway. And with that is the conclusion of video 3 of this fabulous story. Do keep coming by. It is Spooktober, as we all know, so I will do everything I can to get these out quickly to you. And like I said, my subscribers, my regulars, I like to throw in the occasional bonus story. You're guaranteed 2 stories per week, but hey, I've been known to do 3 or 4 before, so you never know. And it being Spooktober, I would make sure to tap those bells and be subscribed. All right, friends, or maybe I should say, all right, fiends and ghoul friends, I will talk to you soon. That was so cheesy. Well, yippee-ki-yay, Musey lovers. Come back soon for more of this fabulous, exciting story. Thank you so much. Happy Spooktober. Talk to you soon. Bye.